there's a fine line between letting the fighter fight out and the fighter being choked out too long. He's like, oh, just you gotta give him a minute. If I give him a minute, he could fucking die. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I give him a minute being choked out, that's a long time, buddy. Yeah. And so I get it. I understand. I would be so fucking mad. But they
made it. You don't think he is? You don't think he's upset with himself?
He's really mad. He's really mad. But this look, other refs have made the same mistakes. There's plenty of them have, and they made it on the biggest stages in some of the biggest fights.
Yep.
And we just got to look past it. Look, we chalked it up to fighter safety. That's the way I chalk it up. I mean, look, he looked like his arm dropped, his right arm dropped. And okay, if I'm thinking now, I maybe would have shaken it a little bit to see if I would have got a reaction out of him.
Stop with that goddamn shaking bullshit.
Okay, I would have done something. I mean, I would have shook his arm.
Okay, you would have.
Yeah, I would have shook his arm.
Yeah,
I would have shook, and I would have shook to see if there was any tension still left in it.
So let's take the arm and put it someplace it doesn't belong. And when you do, guess what? What's gonna happen when he's there? He's gonna move it. If you sit there and shake, and he's trying to relax, you can do a shake. You're the one controlling the arm, and you're hoping that he's going to give some resistance. You're hoping, but that doesn't always happen. And so when you're hoping he's going to give some resistance, I want to take the arm and I want to move it into a place where all of a sudden it's like he's going to pull it back. He's going to put it in. Yes, you are. You're creating a situation where he's got to move his arm. I'm going to make you move the arm to see if you're there. If you don't move it, then it's telling me yes, you're out, and I'm going to come in and stop the fight. But this comes, just because the UFC and the WWE are now owned by the same company. I guess it's not even Endeavor; it's TKO now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the old Hulk Hogan bullshit. Okay, this whole shaking of the arm. Because Hulk Hogan used to get put into a fucking rear naked choke, we'll say, and he's sitting on his ass.
Don't be jealous.
He's sitting on his ass, and the fucking, whoever it is, The Rock or whoever, has got him in this shit choke that is fake as hell. And Dave is going crazy and loving it. He's just absolutely, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And the referee looks at Hulk, and the Hulk is sitting there and he's like shaking. All of a sudden his arms start to go down and the referee picks his arm up and lets go of it. And his arm drops and hits the ground. And then he does it again. And the Hulkster's arm, it drops. And then the third time, always the third time, the Hulk arm's picked up and he starts just shaking. And oh my God, he's going to come out of it. We don't pick up arms and shake them. We move them to a place where they don't belong, or I can put tension on where the tension's going to want to come back. That's going to tell you whether the person's out or not. But this whole, Dominic was very big, and I don't mean to say anything bad about Herb. Herb did a phenomenal job last night. He had a great show. But Herb had the same situation occur with Robbie Lawler against Ben Askren. Ben Askren's putting him into a choke, different type of choke, obviously. But Robbie Lawler decides, I'm just going to relax, lets his arm kind of flops, and Herb does the shake and stops the fight. And Robbie Lawler goes, what are you doing? The only difference is they didn't have a replay official at the time that came in and said, hey, we want to make that a no contest. You stop that, he was not out. That's what happened here. It's a no contest. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks for both fighters in the fact that, you have this situation now based upon the pay, the way the UFC structures it and breaks it down. No one is getting that win money. You have your show money and you have your win money, and now you don't even have the chance. Someone's taken away that opportunity for you to win that money. And that's where the real problem is, when you're looking at this as a no contest or a no decision. What I've heard people talk about, they should just restart them. It's tough.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. I did a fight one time, and it was in Virginia, and it wasn't for the UFC. It was for another promotion. And during a fight where one of the fighters puts the other fighter into this, I mean, super deep omoplata at the time. And this thing is on, it's done perfectly. And he's cranking and he's trying to, and the guy's putting up with, and all of a sudden, all the lights go off. It's black. I mean, there's enough light you can see, a little bit, but I have to stop the fight. So I stop the fight, right? I pull them out of the position. I can't have them fight in the dark. And we, wait and we see how long. Okay, it's going to be 10 minutes before the lights are completely up. I put them back in the same position. And I'm telling this one guy, crank it more, crank it more, crank it more. I mean, but there's no way that I can get it exactly where it was at. There's, because you as the person who's getting cranked are now starting to adjust. So you're in a little bit better position than you were in when he had it the first time. And we start the fight and the guy gets out of it. And I was just like, there's nothing more you can do. I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. So if you were going to try to restart this and put them back into the same position, are you going to adjust the fight in any way? Sure you are. Is it a choice? It's a choice that possibly, can be brought up and they can do. But the real problem with the ending is both guys get shorted out on money in some way. No one was able to get that money. So it was a mistake. It was a mistake by Chris. Dominic jumped all over him, and that's Dominic's, he has that, ability. It's his job, if you want to look at it and say it. But Dominic says some things that, he has no idea, but he opens up his mouth and says those things like, you shouldn't be in there if you don't grapple. Well, there's different types of grappling, Josh. Chris Taglioni was a good wrestler. He was a guy that wrestled for most of his life. He attained a lot higher status in wrestling than Dominic Cruz ever did. Okay, now Dominic was a better fighter, no doubt about it. And if I was gonna say, does Chris have, a limitation when it comes to the submission and jiu-jitsu part? Sure, he's not that guy. He's the wrestling coach guy. But to sit there and to, it's not as easy as you think. And until we have guys, take a look at Frank Trigg. Was he a fighter?
Yeah,
he's a damn good fighter, right? Good wrestler. Chris Lehman. We got all these guys that have been good fighters and now are trying to referee or judge, and they'll all tell you, dude, it's not what you think. Holy shit. And it's because you're supposed to be perfect all the time. Hard to be perfect all the time. Hard to be right and make everybody happy, because you're trying to make the fighters happy. You're trying to make the promotion happy. You're trying to make the commission happy. And the commission happy and the promotion happy are two different directions, because promotion wants the fight to be exciting. They want it to be done right. The commission wants the fight to be exciting. They want it to be safe. So you're always playing that, balancing act. And I feel bad for Chris that this happened, but there is systems in place that he needs to adjust to. When you see somebody and you're going to make a stop, here's what I want you to do first, just to make sure in that situation, based upon the fact, if you look at the choke, that's not a good choke. And that's where Dominic was right. You look at how the arm was across and what he was doing, it's going to be really hard, because you only have possibly one side of the carotid, and you really didn't have the larynx to crush, to push up against the carotid arteries. So Dominic was right about that, but mistakes are made. This is what happens. But they did it right in that no one got a loss.
Yeah. Okay, so you said, do you restart the fight? And you had a very long-winded answer, but no, I don't think you do.
Yeah.
The reason why you don't is the emotions of the fighter who won.
Everything
is off. I just won this fight. Now I got to fight this guy again. What are you talking about? You stopped the fight. I won the fight. And then the other fighter's like, yeah, let's go. I'm motivated now. I get a second chance. It just changes the tide.
Usually you're absolutely right. You
Yeah.
will see the guy who supposedly lost the fight come back, and because I've seen him restart the fight too many times. They come back and win.
Yeah.
Because the other guy has lost everything. His mentality is gone.
Yeah, the adrenaline dump is real. It's like, yes, I've won. Like, you're getting your check. We're celebrating. You're up on the top of the cage, thanking the fans. And then you're like, yeah, get down. Okay, you're going to keep going. Yeah. Wait, what?
Here, I want you to think about this. Go back to Anderson Silva. Did you ever see Anderson Silva do that?
Oh, yeah. Against Michael Bisping.
Mike Bisping.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
All of a sudden he was told, no, next round. And you could see the drop.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
But then there's also like when fighters also win and they take another fight the next week or 2 weeks later because they had a good performance.
Yeah.
Don't do that either. Give yourself time to get out of your own head. Focus on the next opponent. I've seen it. We just talked about a fighter doing that, I think, 2 weeks ago or something. They had fought 2 or 3 weeks ago. They had fought on one card, had a dominant performance, no injuries. Like it was like a 2-minute fight. Came on and fought the next time, lost. It was they wanted to take the roll around fight. They wanted to go right over to the next fight, collect another check. Good on them for doing it, but it's not easy.
100% agree. Nah, look it.